Good morning, gentlemen. I stumbled across a Globe and Mail article. Um, I wanted to find the source material for what it's about. I tried. I tried, buddies. Um, I looked it up and I just can't find anything about it. So I'm gonna have to do it on the article itself, which I looked through it already, and it's not bad. They did a decent job at being journalists, presenting both sides of stuff. Um, so I wanted to go down to where, kind of skipping the history on stuff a little bit here. Uh, Bill Blair says there are some weapons that are currently available in our society that represent an unacceptable risk. Said they've been used tragically in a number of incidents in which a large number of people have been killed because these weapons were designed to be efficient in the taking of lives. That's every firearm. that's that's every gun. Every gun is efficient in working. That's the goal. That's what every gun strives to be, is something that works. Um, but moving on, he says the government would not simply prohibit new sales of these weapons and allow current owners to keep them for grandfathering. He said instead they will propose to buy them back. Now, uh, you think they're going to pay you the same amount of money that you paid to get your firearm? Yeah, for your Visa 58, you think they're going to pay you, maybe up to 1,400 bucks, depending on how long ago you got it? You think they're going to pay your 600 to however much you spent making your AR? They're not going to give you that much. Here's 50 bucks. Uh, let's see. In fairness to those individuals, he says, who have already lawfully acquired these weapons, if we are going to prohibit them or remove them from society, we would want to consider the best way to compensate them. I, I really highly doubt it. Said the cost of the measure is going to be ridiculously high, and the firearms to be banned have yet to be determined. But he mentioned it would be targeting the types of weapons that have been used in mass shootings in Canada, United States, New Zealand. AR-15s and Mini 14s, I guess. Um, Maybe like ones that have been used in ass shooting, Visa 58, and that. Really, it's going to be AR-15s mostly, and then they're just going to toss in everything on top of it while they're at it. Like going shopping when you're hungry. You pick up something you wanted to get there, and then, well, while we're at it, may as well just get this and this and this. And then something that's nice about the articles, they mention that there's no legal definition for assault rifles in the criminal code. That's true. The most commonly cited example of military style. It pains me. It hurts to say that. The AR-15 is classified as restricted, meaning it's subject, blah, blah, blah. It's part of the registry. But then they also mention that um, other firearms do the same thing. Same damn thing. Uh, Other things shoot 5.56, man. And talks about these guys. Really, it's about as biased as it gets. You could talk to a firearms owner who's far less biased about firearms. Am I biased for firearms? You could say maybe yes and no. Like I have my view, but and it's entirely pro firearms. But I would say I know far more about them and whether or not it's an issue than they do. And they identify whatever styles of rifles that have been approved for the Canadian market over the past 2 years. This is going to be targeting your Stag and the other not AR-15s and AR-10s. That's what they're going to be going for. And it talks about tens of thousands of magazine-fed semi-automatic rifles in the country, and choosing which ones are military-style assault rifles will prove controversial. It's right because I don't get it, man. He talks about how this guy, I like this guy. He says if the government wants to prohibit every firearm originally designed to kill people, they'd have to prohibit every firearm on the market. Signs go back a long time, man. Um, Talks about the Mini 14 and how it's kind of like um, it's kind of skipped over, seeing as the way it looks is not your standard um, assault rifle of modern day. Um, let's see here. Strengthening laws on storage. I don't know how it can get more strict. Among other things, the measures would allow authorities to suspend firearms acquisition licenses over concerns that the owners could harm themselves or others. This is already a thing. If you call a CFO, like Canadian Firearms Officer, um, if there's a guy who's suicidal, might hurt himself or others with firearms, they can already come and seize firearms. You can do that. That's that's already a thing in Canada. It's been a thing for a long time. If you call the police and say this guy is going to hurt somebody, they can come in and seize the firearms. That's something that is already in place. I promise you. It talks about to deter straw purchases in which guns are legally purchased and resold to criminals. Um, you can't straw purchase handguns in Canada as it is, seeing as they're um, already linked to you through the registry. But nobody straw purchases non-restricted guns in Canada. You know, non-restricted firearms are not used in crime in Canada. You could say that's false. Like a couple times, they really are not used anywhere near as often as say smuggled handguns. Um, Talks about letting provinces decide and municipalities to decide. So, you could say it's granted to, I don't know, Surrey and Toronto, and they say no firearms in in the city, which is probably already a bylaw. Um, this is probably the gold of the article. As Mr. Blair argued, a majority of gun owners would not be affected by these rules. It's all of us. 2 point something million firearms owners. We're all affected by these changes that they want to do. He says, blah, 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 I wouldn't go after the hunters, farmers, or sport shooters who follow the rules. This is us who are obeying the law and don't represent a risk to themselves or public safety. That's like 99.99% of PAL owners. Um, it hurts, man. You know, they're saying, we wouldn't come after you. You guys are following the rules, but we're the ones they come after. And then it talks about how pressure is increased um, after some shootings, and I don't know. It's brutal, guys. We follow the law. They come after us. It just doesn't stop. But hang in there, buds. We'll get through it.